The president, his vice, and all who matter within the NPP met and deliberated for hours, but still could not come to a conclusion on a date to elect the new flag bearer. Joy News understands there are entrenched views within the party relating to whether or not the party must hold an early Congress. General Secretary of the NPP, Justin Frimpong Kodria, told journalists the party will continue consulting until the decision is arrived at.
From steering committee through to National Executive Committee and National Council, it has been resolved that as a party we need to do further consultation on the timelines for the presidential and parliamentary elections, and within the possible shortest time we will come out with the timelines for our presidential and parliamentary elections. Among others, the party was expected to announce modalities for its superdelegate conference if there are more than 5 aspirants. But this decision as well could not be taken. The Alan Chermatin campaign is not too pleased with the delay. One of the big decisions the New Patriotic Party have to take now is when it will elect its flag bearer ahead of that 2024 election. Indeed, after about 6 hours of meeting here at the Alisa Hotel, in which the president, the vice president, members of parliament, key stakeholders of the NPP were involved, the party could not reach a consensus to decide on when it will elect its flag bearer. Already, Alan Chermatin and other hopefuls are already on the road campaigning to get that NPP top job. But according to party officials, no agreement has been reached, and because of this, more consultation has to take place. Our understanding is that there is currently 2 schools of thought within the NPP. One, where the section led by the President Akufo-Addo saying that if you elect a new flag bearer now, that will take away the spotlight, the power and everything from the president, while the other school of thought that says that let us allow the flag bearer early enough to give us enough time to campaign. Reporting for Joy News, Kweku Asante, Alisa Hotel.
And that was Kweku Asante, our parliamentary affairs correspondent, giving us the scoop there from that meeting yesterday as far as the New Patriotic Party is concerned. So where do we go from here? Where does the party go from here? And does this bode well or ill for the NPP? Joining the conversation, Dr. Kwesi Amache-Boateng. He's a political scientist at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Doc, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
You have followed developments in our Fourth Republic, especially when it comes to the politics of it, and you have seen with the emergence of the NPP at the helm of affairs from the year 2000 till now, what the party has done when it comes to electing flag bearers, the timelines and all of that. But when you look at this current situation, which led to that meeting at which, tellingly, the president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, was present, the vice president, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, was present, members of parliament, among others, featuring prominently, yet that inability still remaining in terms of what the modalities should be. What for you is your appreciation of where the New Patriotic Party finds itself as far as this situation is concerned currently?
Well, thank you for the opportunity. Let me say good morning to your listeners. Actually, the party, the NPP, finds itself in a quandary currently. They have a challenge because of the economic performance, currently, Ronaldo's economic performance, Ronaldo's legacy that he will be bequeathing to Ghanaians, and the party's overall interest, the desire to remain in power, and then the immediate issue, competing interest in the party, who is going to lead the party going forward. So these 2 issues are, if you like, are in contention, and within the party, they've come into some sort of conflict. The interest around them so high. To the best of my understanding, that is why they couldn't take a decision. Everybody is pulling, their weight, and so far, it is like they are not very clear as to whether, one, the party in government will be able to, pull something out economically before 2024. The fear that if an earlier decision, to go forward and produce a flag bearer will take the shine, will take the focus, off the presidency is an interesting thing because it's necessarily unfounded. If the presidency were, busy with a very significant agenda that is being implemented, which can significantly affect the life of Ghanaians, our politics will focus on that. Our politics will focus on that because at the end of the day, politics works so closely with economics. After elections, you got management, you got governance, and this is all about, bread and butter, economic issues. So if the fear that an earlier decision would not be conducive for the presidency is also, to me, an indication that the presidency is not very sure that it has any significant program to implement going forward. And so people will therefore follow the political campaign and then the electoral issues with the hope of getting something out. It's just a hope. Have we got someone out there who will do better than the current situation? Have we got someone there? If that happens to be the case, then the politics will, be picked or it will follow the political activities leading to elections, the internal elections of flag bearers, parliamentary positions, and eventually, the ultimate national election. But if the government were to be implementing some significant program, something that really Ghanaians see affects them so much, then that is it. So generally, interest, is competing one another. Competing interests are to the best of my understanding, manifested in the party, and to me, they have produced the outcome that we have. The party's inability, to take a critical decision as to electing their flag bearers now or, delaying it.
Would you say those competing interests are working against the party in terms of its ambitions to break the 8? Because mind you, there will always be competing interests at this point in time. There was a point when with Aliu Mahama as vice president, there were about 14 to 17 contenders. Those are there. But in this instance, we see these competing interests almost getting divisive. What do you make of that?
You see, any casual observer of current political developments in the country will not hesitate to come to a conclusion that the NPP is waiting to go home. The terrible mess, the economic mess, the huge amount of money that has come in against virtually nothing on the ground to justify, the amount of money that came in. And then the parties, at the same time, the parties' interest to hold on to political power, they call it breaking the 8. The aspirants also are some sort of not really feeling so easy, simply because they know of the challenge ahead of them. And they wish they could go out there and, if you like, hit the ground running. So in a way, yes, it's hurting the party. Either way, the inability to take a decisive action, come to a position where they say, okay, this is the way forward. Because the delay really, simply keeps that decision at bay and possibly the government thinking that maybe they might get some respite if they delay it. They won't. They won't, because if what they do in government now, governance, is not seen as inuring to economic interests of Ghanaians, then it will be adding to their woes. So I think they should take a decision. They should allow the flag bearership decision to be taken, so that the government will have to do what it has to do to keep politics following it.
Do hold for us, Doc. Let me also quickly bring in Nana Boakye, national organizer of the NPP. Nana, a very good morning to you. Thank you for joining us on the AM show.
morning, my brother. How are you?
I've been well. I hope you are too.
Oh, by God's grace. I mean, I'm good.
Mm.
Is it Dr. Matthew Watting have on the line?
Yes, he's still on the line.
He's my lecturer. So, sir, I greet you.
I'm sure he sends his salutations as well. But just quickly tell us, give us some insight into what transpired yesterday. We do know that no agreement was arrived at in terms of where the party is headed as far as the flag bearership race and the timing is concerned. But what really is going on?
Naturally, I know that people are in an expectant mood. Yes, I mean, rightly so. But let me first of all lay this foundation. The action or the decision by the National Council, it is not in any way an affront to our Constitution. We are way within the time. It is only proper that we find an appropriate date which can accommodate all our programs. We need to bear in mind that we are not an opposition party. We are a party in government, and it is the party that gave birth to the government. So we need to do broad consultation in our dealings. Yes, we started a restructuring and reorganization right from the polling station, electoral area, the constituencies. We went to the external branch, and then we came right to the regions and the national. So we need the parliamentary primaries and the presidential primaries to make the reorganization and then restructuring complete. We started a discussion of fixing the date, finding an appropriate period where it can accommodate all our activities. And we need to bear in mind, constitutionally, you need even 6 months. You need to, when you open a nomination for presidential primaries today, it means you need at least 6 months to fix the day of the elections. So there are so many things that we need to consider. There are so many consultations. We started from last year, December, and then we were supposed to meet January, and then we fixed yesterday for this meeting. We started from the National Steering Committee, National Executive Committee, and then National Council. We have had extensive and deep discussion on this matter, and these are sensitive. You cannot just rush and take anything. I've heard people say that, you know what, the opposition party, the NDC, just fixed their date for 13th May or so. So what are we waiting for? No, they are not supposed to be our standard. No, not at all. Because why? We are in power. And the kind of decisions they make, it should not influence our dealings. Recently, they did a reshuffle in Parliament. So is that supposed to mean that we also should do a reshuffle? I don't think so. And that brought them a lot of mayhem and caused them a lot of turbulence in Parliament. So that doesn't mean that we need to follow what they do. We are an independent party. We know what we are seeking for. So at the National Council meeting, in the wisdom of National Council members, who is the second highest decision-making body of the party, we are of the view that we need to do broader and detailed, deep consultation in the shortest possible time so that we will come up with all of these settled. When we talk of parliamentary primaries, we are talking of even the orphan constituencies and constituencies we have sitting MPs. Usually, we would even conduct primaries for the orphan constituencies before the certain constituencies will come. So all of these are considerations on the table. Some have even argued that, look, let's have all the elections on one day. Some have said that let's have orphan constituencies before the sitting MPs. Some say let's have all the elections, both the parliamentary and the presidential, on one day. There have been a lot of petitions received from major stakeholders. We are considering all. Even as at yesterday, we had received almost about 3 or 4 petitions from important stakeholders of the party. We have even been invited by the National Council of Elders. They have a major input in these matters. So, fortunately for us, we have been in power before, and there have been people who have been architects in the former administration during the NPP government before. So we need to do, most especially His Excellency, the former president, and then other people. So the decision from council is that we should not rush at all. We are not in competition with anybody to set a date. We, as an independent party, the biggest political party in Ghana, should have a date that will accommodate all our programs. so that we will be targeting the 2024. So we are not in a rush, although there is an expectant mood out there for us to have our date fixed so that we can get it running. But the decision of council is that let's do broader consultation of this so that we can have it right and then move on.
So you're basically saying that this is going to take a lot more time with the different schools of thought that have emerged about, what should be done moving forward. But I'd just like to find out from you.
This issue was raised with regards to time and the space we need to operate within. And the critical point was made that we need to do it within the shortest possible time. Although we're also careful not to put any particular time frame on this particular matter. But an important caution was given that we need to, already we had a committee. The committee brought forth its recommendation. And then out of this recommendation, we said, let's do broad consultation. So for me, I think that more than 50% of the work consultation is already complete. It's just that we need to have it and then do it well. So within the shortest possible time, we'll reconvene and we would make a decision going forward.
I have a number of questions for you, but I'd just like to start from this end. So you're basically unfazed as a party. You're in power, yes, but the NDC has...
what?
You are in power as a party, but the NDC, the opposition, seems to have some sort of a plan in terms of having its flag bearership race, like you rightly mentioned, sometime around May and all of that. As of now, you don't have anything, but you still say the party is unfazed by it. How are your members reacting to that?
No. You see, when you are in opposition, I think that the NDC's constitution is similarly constructed just like ours. For instance, when you are in power, you cannot do your presidential primaries later than 12 months to the election. So the Constitution says you have to do it not later than 12 months to the elections. So we can even do it today. It will still be within the time. But it shouldn't go beyond that. So we have a time frame. But when you are not in power, that is when you make sure that you do it 18 months before the election. So you can have it within that time. And I think the NDC is even not later than 24 months or so. Because when you are in power, the dynamics are different. When you have a certain president and then you are in power, the dynamics are different. So both constitutions are similarly constructed in this line. So it is not as though what you are saying, I'm not going to agree to that we don't have a plan. No. That is why I'm saying that more than 50% of the work is already done. The restructuring process, we are more than 70% already done. We have these two main elections ahead. We cannot just rush and make any decision. The fact that the media expect us to announce it so that it will be newsworthy for us to discuss does not mean that we need to rush and then make any decision at all. I know you are expecting us. Yesterday I saw your colleagues, so many people with cameras and recorders and all of them. Yes, I know you want good news. I mean, you were expecting. So the fact that the media and everybody is expecting us to make a pronouncement on the date so that it will be newsworthy does not mean that we need to rush and make any decision at all. I think we need to carefully consider all the scenarios. We have a lot of scenarios. If you do it this time, what to be the consequences? If you do it this time, what to be the positives out of it? If it goes to this time, how about it? In all of this, we are boxing it within the constitutional framework. There's no way the decision that come out from council will be an affront to the Constitution, not at all. We are mindful of what the Constitution says, and we are within the time frame. We only have to do deep and detailed consultation so that we have it right, and that is it. So that is our strategy, and that is our decision.
All right, so two quick questions to wrap the conversation, and we are grateful you've stayed with us. Just two quick questions to wrap. First off, we do know that some former ministers have resigned. Alan Tremateng, first of all, Dr. Efri Akoto also following suit. And they have hit the ground campaigning because they are no longer in office. There are others who are said to want to campaign who are still in government who will not have those opportunities. What does that do for the party, especially as there's still some uncertainty about when your national election will take place for a flag bearer? And secondly, the president, the vice president, members of parliament were at this gathering, and you still couldn't arrive at any decision in terms of when it will be held. One school of thought is that don't do it now because it will steal the shine of the president or the leader of the country and take away from what we are doing. Another school of thought is that if we do it too late, we wouldn't be able to campaign properly. How do you respond to these two thoughts out there?
And I don't think that His Excellency the President will have any view or any mindset that if we elect the flag bearer to take office. And no, you know, he's been the leader of the New Patriotic Party for close to about 16 years, right from the year 2008. He was unsuccessful. The year 2012, the party again supported him massively. He won the Flagbearership Race. He became our presidential candidate. We didn't win. The party again gave him that confidence to lead us again in the year 2016, and he gave us the biggest political and electoral victory ever in Ghana. And we have given him enormous support. Constitutionally, he is even aware that he's unable to contest again. And when he was going for his second term, the party again, rank and file, we gave him that massive support. Don't forget that in the NDC, there have been times where certain presidents have been contested before. Former President Atamils and then even President Mahama. There have been times where there have been agitations in their party, but for His Excellency the President, when he was going for his second term, it was a massive, unanimous support, overwhelming support from the rank and file of the party. So for the support, the shine, and undoubtedly, His Excellency the President is the most marketed political figure in Ghana as we speak. So I'm not sure that His Excellency the President or any person at all would have any grounds to make these allusions that because when we elect the presidential candidate to take the shine. No, I don't think so. He's enjoyed massive support for more than a decade. So that idea should...
But automatically, the arrowhead for the party, everyone would, like you said, we all know he's not going to contest, so automatically there will be a shift in terms of who is heading the party, who is leading the party into the next election. Is that not correct?
So that is why I'm saying that he's not going to have any issue with it at all, because already he has indicated to the party that he even intends his plan, his dream, the last legacy he wants to leave for the party is for him to hand over to an NPP government. He's made this known. In fact, the very time he received his re-nomination bid, or he was successful in his re-nomination bid to become president again, he came to the party office, and that was the pronouncement he made, that his greatest ambition now is to make sure that he hands over to an NPP president. So that is never in his mind at all. And I can tell you, he's a true party man, and he has supported us all this time. I don't think that is an issue at all. Rather, there are other important considerations we need to. Yes, I can understand that politically, and then looking at the times we find ourselves, I mean, with the resignation of two important key persons from cabinet, the agric minister and then the trade minister, yes, it again threw the party's mood into, the presidential primaries. I can understand. And I've seen a lot of prospective aspirants who are, I would say, not campaigning, because I've listened to their words. They are choosing their words very carefully, I must admit. They are saying that when the time comes and the New Patriotic Party sets the platform for opening of nomination for the presidential prime, they intend to contest. So I would say that is a declaration of intent. And I think that largely and naturally, the party should accommodate this view. Again, let me also put on record that at the National Council meeting, it was also agreed that a team should put together the rules and regulations governing the parliamentary primaries and the presidential primaries. And that is also going to be considered in our next meeting as well.
Nana, we're grateful for your time, and we wish you the best in all your endeavors. Nana Boakye is national organizer.
I'm also...
Nana, you were making a point. Nana Boakye is national organizer of the NPP. He graciously joined us for a conversation. Well,